Ah yes, technology and big German cars. Now I know what you skeptics and critics are thinking. This is not going to end well, or this is not a good idea. And I can relate. You see, like you, I was very much against technology many years ago. That is until I met my other half and she knocked some sense into me and told me to embrace technology because it's supposed to make your life easier. And I did, and as usual, she was right. Because ever since I've done that, I've begun to live with technology and I don't think I can live without it anymore. The same can be said for our guest here today because across 7 decades, it's been crammed with the latest technology, much like its bigger brother, the S-Class, to make the owner's life that bit much more easier. Hello everybody, we're from WapCar, and this is the story of the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Alright, a little disclaimer before we really jump into this video. We're in Austria in the summer in 2023. So by the time you watch this video, the spec that we're getting with the local E-Class is going to be wildly different from what I'm driving here today. So just bear that in mind, okay? Now, when people think of Mercedes sedans, they think of the S-Class, but I would reckon that the E-Class just, if not more important, because it's the brand's bestseller with 13 million units sold by 2015. Now, the Mercedes-Benz E-Class was born in 1953, but it wasn't until 40 years later in 1993 that the E-Class nomenclature was officially adopted. And speaking of the E-Class, to me, I personally have always felt that it's the Goldilocks of the range because it's big enough that you can still get away with chauffeuring somebody, but it's not as big as the S-Class where, you feel a little bit silly if you're driving it yourself. And personally, the E-Class has a special place in my heart because growing up, my dad had a W124 masterpiece, and I recall very vividly playing with the collapsible headrest feature. Like I would press the button, they would drop, I would go to the back, reset them and do it over and over and over again. But thinking back now, those features were pretty reliable for what they were, repeated abuse. Again, I know what you're thinking, big German cars and reliability, they don't always go hand in hand, but in the case of the E-Class, these cars have been used as taxis, and there are stories of W124s raking up million plus kilometers, and they're still going strong. And yes, I'm also aware that there's a difference between mechanical reliability and electronical reliability. So, you know what? In sticking with the spirit, let's just live in the moment today and experience what the E-Class is all about. So the highlight here is the super screen setup, which is kind of similar to the hyperscreen setup, but with a key difference. So you see the driver's instrument cluster, that one is a separate unit altogether. It's more upright and it measures 12.3 inches. The center screen right here, that's 14.4 inches. And the one facing the front passenger, that's 12.3 inches. All of this is pretty nice, but I really want to direct your attention to the biggest feature, I feel, in my opinion, about the new E-Class, which is this, a selfie and video camera. I'm not kidding you, it really is a selfie and video camera, so you can effectively join Zoom meetings while you're on your way to work. Talk about work-life balance. Besides Zoom, the car also comes pre-installed with other apps such as WebEx, we've got the Vivaldi browser, TikTok, yes, again, not kidding, TikTok, and Angry Birds. I'm not sure how I feel about the last one though. Now over to the front passenger side, they get their own screen as mentioned, so they can be browsing the internet or watching cat videos, whatever it is they want to do. But on a more serious note, wouldn't that be kind of dangerous? I know most of you will be asking, right? What if the driver to be looking over to the front passenger side as they're watching sit cat video? They can't for two things. Number one, there is a sort of a feature that resembles a privacy screen, so it blocks out the view peripherally. So if I'm sitting in the driver's seat and someone is watching a cat video, I won't be able to see anything because the whole screen is blacked out. And if I try, like if I lean over and I try to look at the screen, the camera is going to detect that I'm doing so, and it's going to dim that screen altogether, making it even harder for me to view. But seriously guys, it's kind of idiotic how that they have to put this in because a driver shouldn't be looking over to the screen while they're driving, right? It's a bit too much. And according to a study conducted by McGill University, Malaysia is ranked 3rd out of 24 countries with the highest level of smartphone addiction. We really need to do something about that, okay? Alright, rant over, next part of the story. With the new MBUX Infotainment system, there are no more sub-menus. So basically the system makes personalized suggestions on what it thinks you need and puts all those controls at the highest point in your field of view, making it a lot easier to access. It really ties in with the whole notion that technology is supposed to make your life easier in the E-Class. And to me, there's no better function that redefines that belief than the new routines function. Picture this. You wake up, it's Monday, you get in the car, turn it on, and it plays your Monday Blues playlist on your way to work. Or it's the weekend, Saturday night, date night with your other half. So you get in the car, that other routine comes on, Marvin Gaye starts to play, the active ambient lighting turns red, and the temperature gets really low, so you know she's gonna want to cuddle up later at the movies. Yeah, I can definitely see myself using this routines function, considering how much time I myself or you spend in our car nowadays, right? And to add to that, in the future, Mercedes-Benz says that they're going to add on AI to help generate even more routines. So yeah, talk about technology really taking over. There's even the Energizing Comfort program, and on the new E-Class, there's this new motion sickness mode for the front passenger. So if you select it, basically what it does is that it reclines the seat a little. There's intermittent bursts of fresh air. The ambient lighting changes to a more soothing hue. And if you have it option, air balance gets activated, so you know there's a nicer fragrance, so to speak. And if you have a smartwatch, you can even link it up to the car via the Energizing Coach program. And then it will read your heart rate, stress level, and depending on your sleep quality, recommend you a couple of programs that it thinks will help make the journey that bit much more relaxing. And if you think that is tech overkill, wait till you see these aircon vents, because they've also got a new mode right now where depending on where you want the air to hit, either your head or your torso or a uniform spread across your body, I guess, the AC vents are going to move automatically depending on that mode. Or you could just use your hands the old-fashioned way. And speaking of old-fashioned, let's see what's under the bonnet up front. So at launch in Europe, there are 6 options. 3 are plug-in hybrids and another 3 are mild hybrids. Now I'm going to put up a table with the specs so you can pause the video right about now. Got it? Good. Now let's go for a drive. So we are on the move right now, and first things first, it rides beautifully. It rides. As I was saying, the roads here are very smooth, so I'll save my final comments until we have the car in Malaysia. So the standard suspension is the Mercedes Agility Control. That one has steel springs with selective damping. Yeah, make of that what you will. And if you opt for the Tech Pack, that one gives you rear wheel steering and the airmatic suspension. So power delivery in the E200, yeah, it's more than enough. Remember, we're in Austria, not Malaysia, so speed limits apply. You can't be gunning the throttle at every single empty stretch of road you see. What about shifts? We've got the 9G Tronic automatic transmission. Shifts are imperceptible, really. I mean, if you were to drive it like how it's supposed to be driven, you don't get a sense of gear hunting at all. So there's also this new feature called automatic lane change, and basically what it does, it's if you have this Tronic on, it's going to detect when the car deems it's suitable to actually pull off an overtaking maneuver, an automatic lane change essentially. So let's say you're driving and there's a very slow lorry in front of you, all right, and you have the system on, without even indicating, you're just driving, you're not touching the indicators, whatever, it will indicate by itself, pull out and gun the throttle. So it does the overtaking maneuver for you. Takes a while to get used to it, but when you do, it's a pretty sweet feature to have, I'd say. Now compared to the W213, the pedal placement in this one, the W214, is slightly better, because I recall in the old generation, the pedal placement felt a little bit offset. And what else do we have? In terms of the super screen setup, I really like it because the driver's input cluster is actually upright as opposed to the one in the hyperscreen. Does that mean the hyperscreen is slightly flawed? I don't know. Maybe. No such flaws with the looks though, because I think this is the design that's going to age quite well. So as you can see, we've got two two styles right here. We've got the exclusive line and then there's the AMG line. So the major differences, of course, are in terms of the overall looks. The AMG line is a bit sportier with the multi-styled grille, while the exclusive line, that one's a bit more, I wouldn't say old-fashioned, it's a bit more old school, it's a bit more executive with the three-pointer style on top, and you've got 3 vertical slats going across the grille. Now, both of these cars, you can't see it right now, but they are equipped with the optional illuminated grille surround. I think that one at night, it's gonna be quite eye-catching. Personally, I think it's a bit too blingy. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Might take some time to get used to it, but yeah, it is what it is. And over to the side, we've got wheels going up to 21 inches in diameter. So profile-wise, I think it's a safe look. It's not, I mean, it's nice that it retains that traditional 3-box sedan. You know, they haven't tried to make it too extreme. It's a very safe look, just a bit conservative. Anyway, the wheelbase has grown by 2 centimeters, with most of that gain going to the rear passengers, so legroom should be a lot more noticeably better compared to the outgoing generation. Okay, moving on to the rear, which I think is the best angle in my opinion, at least because of this, the 3-pointed star motif in the taillights. I think it's a nice touch. Some people may find it a bit odd, but I like it. As for boot space, the plug-in hybrids, they have 370 litres of space, while the mild hybrid models have 540 litres. So after my brief experience with the all-new Mercedes-Benz E-Class, can I confidently say that I'm looking forward to Skynet becoming self-aware and taking over? Well, if it doesn't launch nukes and destroys all of us in the process, then yes. Because I feel that, you know, us enthusiasts, car enthusiasts, we're a pretty misguided bunch of people. We all want feel and we all want soul in our cars, and we keep complaining that new cars don't have any of these because they're all crammed with tech. But why would anyone say no to a car that can make your life so much easier? I don't get it. And on that note, I think we've come to the end of our story for today. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Do remember to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Drive safe and take care.